Good evening to all of you. This is your friend Julius, and I'd like to welcome you to my new program, True Stories. True Stories. I just felt like just sharing my stories to you because I have a purpose. My purpose here is not to tell the world about my life. But my purpose is to share with you uh, my stories so that they could be an opportunity for you to use my stories and my experiences in your life. Uh, a lot of people have been asking me so many questions about me, about my life, and there's a lot of people who are just puzzled uh, about my stories. Not even as a pastor, but yung mga kwento ng buhay ko na bago ako maging pastor. Uh, it's a very, it's a very colorful, it's a very exciting and adventurous life that I had, and that is the reason why I like to share with you uh, my stories. Okay, kulang ang ganyang kakapal na papel para isulat ko yung mga kwento ko sa buhay. But I just like to highlight some of the very significant experiences that I have in my life, in my career, with my relationship with people, my business ventures, and my life as an entertainer. When people hear the name Julius Obregon, they at least if you're a baby boomer, uh, they they correlate that to this place is the tavern in Ermita. If you have not been home for a while, uh, merong lugar na tinatawag na Ermita. No? Ermita in the late 60s and the 70s, towards the mid 70s, Ermita was well, I hate to say this, is the red light district of Manila. Well, when you say red light, di naman sinasabing lahat masama. But it's, in the sense, magkakatabi-tabi lang yung mga resto, mga places na pinupuntahan ng tao. Nandun yung mga karaoke, nandun yung mga ang karaoke nung araw kasi hindi yung mga videoke. Talagang live, no, may tigatugtog. And one of those moments that I enjoyed was my stint. Kung naalala niyo pag sinabing Julius Obregon, they related kaagad sa El Bodegon. Hindi niyo natatanong, El Bodegon is a small place. Maliit lang yun. It's a small place in Ermita. And I remember it's nasa harap ng Gaiety Theater yun. It's in front of this old theater. And it's a small place. I think the capacity of that place was about, siguro marami na yata yung 30 dun. O siksikan na yung 30 sa El Bodegon. But you'll be surprised that that place, dun galing ang mga naging mga sikat na mga awit. No? That's the place where I met Tirso Cruz III. I had Romeo Miranda. I have Darius Razon, of course. Everybody knows Darius Razon. And then din sila Georgette Paredes, yung two of us, and the late Walter Navarro. And many more, no? Yun ang jump start kasi ng aming career noon. That's where we started our career. Pag hindi ka galing sa El Bodegon, ay wala ka, no? So, yung mga singers na mga kami noon na naghahangad na maging singer, mga bata pa kami. I was very young. And it is a dream for us comes through to perform and to sing in El Bodegon. It's a small place. Um, I come in there about 5 in the afternoon, get ready for my stint, and sing for people. And it was a beautiful place. No? Marami kaming pinagsamahan, kaming mga singers. Masaya ang aming buhay. Kasi nung araw, mababaw ang kaligayahan ng mga tao na wala pang cellphones, wala pang. We didn't have all of these tools and these mechanisms of technology, but it was all a very intimate relations. No? Kaming mga singers, we are very close. Uh, we we just enjoyed the night. So, yan ang first step doon para ika nga, to climb the ladder to success in the entertainment industry. So, mag-elbodegon ka muna. So, maraming tatanong, baka naman malaki ang bayad din niya sa elbodegon. Ako, hindi po totoo yan. You will be surprised. Ang mga talent fee po namin noon is, I think if I remember, the most was about 11 pesos, or malaki na yung 15 pesos. 15 pesos. Magdamag ka ng kumakanta. Pero libre naman yung pagkain. Anyways, that is the place where we started. No? And then pagkagaling ka na doon, you graduate to Dewey Boulevard. That is, yan naman yung parang Vegas strip of the Philippines, of Manila. Tabi-tabi naman dyan yung mga nightclubs. So it's just very near from each other, yung mga places na yan. And then if you are already performing in the nightclub, which, for example, namely Bayside, Flame, Wells Fargo, and ano pa, Reno's, yan yung mga places na pagka dumating ka na doon as a aspiring singer, medyo asenso ka na kasi ang sweldo, ang talent fee mo galing sa El Bodegon, 11 to 15. Paglipat mo naman doon sa Dewey Boulevard, mataas na ang bayad sa'yo. Naging 12 na. 12 to 13 pesos. Pero asenso na yun. No? Nangihiram pa kami ng mga, siyempre kailangan you're wearing a suit. So, alam niyo, nung panahon po na yun, mahal po ang mga suit unless may sponsor ka. Kung sponsored ka ng Cybels o kung ano na yung mga gumagawa ng mga suit noon. Kung sponsored ka, then that's okay. It's fine. So, we have to wear a suit when we perform dyan sa mga nightclub na yan. Big band dyan. Wala pang karaoke. Wala pang mga -1. Wala pa yung mga ganun. Ang mga gigs namin ng araw, big band. You're talking about 16-piece band, no? Backing you up. At it was fun, but only kailangan bihis ka. No? Hindi katulad sa El Bodegon, medyo kun lang kami. We just very casual and simple lang ang buhay. But when you move in now to the next stage of entertainment, then now you are forced to also upgrade yung mga suot mo. So, naalala ko noon nangihiram ako ng Amerikana. I borrow my jackets or my coat or my blazers, because I can't afford. So I borrow blazers from mga kapwa ko mga singer. Makakatabi lang yan eh. So, pag break time niya, ihiramin ko yung suot niya. So, gagamitin ko naman dun sa set ko. So, after matapos naman yung set ko, ibabalik naman sa kanya yung blazer niya. So, ganun lang kami. No? It was really fun. And wala pa kami mga sasakyan noon. Taxi ka lang. No? Wala pang Uber. There was no, such thing as those. So, every night we have to contract a taxi driver to bring us home and to pick us up again. So that's the life na pinagsimulan ko when I was a very young man. I saw the world. Nakita ko ang mundo. Nakita ko lahat ng klaseng tao nakita ko na nakausap ko, nakasama ko. You know, when you're working at night, sa gabi, um, it the word talaga is darkness. Uh, I came from a life of darkness, literally. I was not in the light yet, so I came from the world of darkness, meaning to say that I went I went with the flow, as they said. No? I'm thankful I did not indulge with alcohol or drugs or whatever. Hindi ako na involved sa ganyan. But you know, when you are working with in the strip, as they say, lahat ng mga temptations at lahat ng mga pangyayari at mga enticing na mga situations ay madali. So, in short, I was very young and I was exposed to the world in a very early life, you know. Um, Tinatanong ako bakit why am I not smoking or drinking? I don't smoke and I don't drink. Before I taste a little of that, I taste a little of this, but just for the occasion. You know. Alam niyo naman nung araw pagka hindi ka nagsisigarilyo, hindi ka umiinom ng konti, hindi ka in. Up to now, no, some people feel that, you know, it makes you less of a man, it makes you less of a person if you're not indulging in drinking alcohol or those stuff, you know. But it's not necessary, hindi naman kailangan. So I did not involve myself sa mga ganon. I just involved myself in learning songs and keeping up with anong mga music na maganda. And I think that was a huge part of my life uh, to work with musicians. You know, alam niyo, hindi niyo natatanong. We should be very proud. Our country is a place, is a country where we are so what you call this, gifted with great singers and great talents. And I was very happy to be a part of that clan, you know. And I'll talk to you more about that, yung mga clan, yung mga grupo-grupo, no. But why do I open my stories about El Bodigon? And I don't want to really jump from the beginning of my life because it will take us a lifetime maybe for me to really share with you my life stories. But I just like to start in the middle or in the beginning of my career. You know? That time, the music industry was really a dog eat dog business. Kailangan malakas ka, may palakasan na meron kang connection. At kung wala kang connection, mahihirapan kang magkaroon ng pangalan. But what I'm trying to share with you is that there are reasons where we are right now. No? So I believe that God allowed me to be in that place noon so that I could learn. Ang dami kong napag-aralan. No? Alam niyo nung araw yung mga nightclub, no? uh, talagang night, madilim. And you could see, you will meet very hostile people. Talagang arrogante. Magre-request sa iyo ng kanta, tututukan ka pa ng baril para lang mag-request ng kanta. Pero ba namang request na bubunutan ka ng baril kaya doon ako natutong maging composer. Bakit? Kasi pag may pinapakita sa akin na hindi ko alam, if I don't know the song, then I was forced to compose at random just to be able to please that man who was, you know, very arrogant and, you know, who wants me to sing his song that I do not know. So I was forced to concoct or to invent or to compose a song on the spot just to please him. And he doesn't even care because he's drunk. So ganun ang mga, there were even groups that pag pumasok yan sa nightclub, no? May mga baril yan, no? Yung mga tawag namin doon, Lima yan sila, kinatatakutan yan, yung grupo na yan. And so, sometimes fear envelops you, no? So, kumakanta ka, takot ka, baka mamaya may magbutukan dyan. At sa ngayon, that also happens. There's no such thing as a safe place in the world, actually. Uh, so, uh, night after night after night, uh, that was my life for, I could say, about a good 6 years of my life, if not more. And I've natuto kong to meet people. And I've met all sorts of people, you know. And I, the reason why I tell you about these stories is that because you are also in that place sometimes. You know. Maybe your life is different. The trajectories of our lives are different. But as you learn, uh, nag-redirect ang buhay natin. So, that's why I'm sharing where I started and where I am now. You see? If you do not feel uh, kung saan kayo naggaling at saan kayo nagsimula at nasaan ka ngayon, then more likely there was no really a dramatic change in your life, you know. But if you have really changed from where you started and where you are now, you will appreciate more, you know, uh, what God is doing in your life. When I was young, I didn't care. I was carefree. Wala akong pakialam. Bata pa ako. Ano? Alam niyo, pagka you're young, you don't care. You always resist and you insist. We always are convinced that we are good, that we are better, that we can stand alone. And, at the end of the day, we know hindi yun totoo. But because of youth, of being young, um, we are convinced that we are, what you call this, uh, we are capable of doing things on our own. And that is one of the greatest things that I've learned in my life and in my career. You see? Now, let's go back to El Bodigon. That is very, very significant to me, that place. Sapagkat doon na kami inabot ng martial law. See? So, during the martial law time, doon na kami inabot sa El Bodigon. So, kailangan meron kaming pass, and then we have to have our pass, or else uh, maglilinis ka doon sa Camp Crame. Alala ko rin noong araw na, may mga checkpoints, and then yung kaibigan ko, the late Victor Wood, ayan, si Victor Wood kumanta rin pala doon. So, meron kaming pass at nakalimutan namin yung pass namin. So, sabi namin, Ricky, uwi tayo. It's okay because total, kilala naman tayo eh. Okay, sabi, sige pare, kilala naman tayo. So we took the cab, and then hindi na nagtagal, umabot na kami sa checkpoint. In-stop kami sa checkpoint, and then, ayan, pinababa kami lahat, and then we were asked to identify ourselves. No? Sabi ng kaibigan ko, ako si Victor Wood. Sabi ko naman, ako si Julius Obregon. Ganun ba? Sabi ng sundalo pa ng araw. Ganun ba? Kayo pala yung mga artista, mga recording artist. Opo, kami yun. Sige, sumakay na kayo dito sa aming truck at daling ko kayo sa Camp Crame. Doon kami nag-overnight. So, anyways, naalala ko lang yung katigasan ng ulo namin ng araw. But as we progressed in our lives, nagkaroon kami ng isang malaking issue sa aming career. And yan yung nababalitaan ninyong yung Payola expose. And I was the one who started that just by telling a story. No? And one night sa El Bodigon, I was sitting down with my good friend, the late Danny Hernandez, a very good writer. And I was telling him that my sentiments of the industry, kasi recording artist na ako. No? So I told him my story about how we are treated in the music industry. You know? Kasi nung araw in the 70s, you know that the airwaves are all dominated by international artists. You know? As a matter of fact, uh, I don't think that it ever changed, you see. So, in a country like ours, where there are so many of us artists who are aspiring to have their own, what's it called, share of glory in the entertainment industry, here comes international artists and their recordings that dominate the airwaves. So, kumbaga sa mga sa radio stations nung araw, uh, ang lamang sa na pinatutugtog ay ang mga tugtog ng mga banyaga 'no, English. At wala kaming mga artist na Pinoy, ay wala kami. So, it's a bottleneck. So, nagsisiksikan kami dun sa bottleneck na 'yan, para lang kami mapatugtog sa radyo 'no. Ngayon, kailangan kilala mo yung DJ, malakas ka sa radio station, sa station manager para ka mapatugtog. You know, no matter how good your voice or how nice your material is, uh, you will never you will never have your own share of the limelight kasi kahit anong ganda ng kanta, ang version mo hindi ka naman nadidinig, no? So that was the issue, and I was very young to recognize that. So I want to segue to that. No, nagsimula lang ako sa El Bodegón, just to give you a glimpse of my life when I was young. But sinegue ko lang doon. But actually, what transpired in a small tavern like El Bodegón was historical. You know, it is true. So, I was interviewed by my friend and nagkwentuhan lang kami. Sinabi ko yung mga, I told him my heartaches and my opinions. Uh, uh, that sabi ko, parang hindi yata parehas. No? Sabi niya, bakit, Julius? Sabi ko, kasi marami rin kami mga artista, mga singers, mga recording artists. Kaya ang radio stations nung araw, iilan lang. Wala pang internet. There was no multimedia, there was no social media rather, there was no internet. So the airwaves are dominated by foreign music. No, so there was no original Filipino music. So I spoke very clearly about that. And to be honest with you, I was scared. I was careless when I spoke and talked to my friend, not knowing na hindi pala ako off the record. No, actually, he asked permission sa akin, can I write this down? But I did not realize that the following day, it would be a huge story in the newspapers. And then it was picked up by mainstream media and so in a period of 72 hours, it was a sensational story because of what I shared. I shared about the how we are treated. Hanggang ngayon po, you know, I'm glad that the OPM, Original Filipino Music, was born. And I will really say this. I started that I coined that name OPM. I fought for the rights of our entertainers with my friend Victor Wood, the late Victor Wood. We fought for our rights. We were the voice of the entertainers. But you know, at the end of the day, alam niyo naman po, pag ikaw ang nagtatanggol, ikaw ang nakikibaka, ikaw you stand for your right, you stand for justice, you know, it will boomerang sa iyo. So, bumalik sa amin. No? What happened to us is that hindi na kami pinatutugtog sa radyo. No? So that was the end of my career in my recording career, at least. No? And we started a group that we called ourselves the Philnea. No? Ito pong kinikwento ko sa inyo, history ito, no? I'm sorry. And you will find this in the, what do you call this, in the Library of Congress in the Philippines. No? Kinikwento. This is verifiable. This is true. No? Kaya nga true stories. I'm not making this up. This is historical. This is in the newspaper. There are archives about my story. And maraming hindi nakakaalam ng story nitong paano nagkaroon ng OPM. And I'm so happy, you know. But somebody has to take the fall, and that is me, you know. Para sa mabuksan namin ang daan at ang pakakataon para sa aming mga kasama. I was not thinking of myself, no? Kami ni Vic. We were not thinking of ourselves. We were thinking of the future of our artists, mga kapwa namin mga artista. You know? Kasi magagaling ang ating mga awit. Hanggang ngayon, you know, I am so blessed. I'm so amazed to hear these talents. No? They're just fabulous. No? At mabuti na lang ngayon at nabibigyan na ng pansin, you know, uh, meron ng internet, meron ng streaming ngayon. Pwede na lahat ng all of the platforms are available. But during that time, wala kaming platform. Iisa ng platform namin, radyo. Ilan lang ang radio stations eh. Kung di ka pa mapatugtog doon, di wala na nakikinig sa'yo. Di ba? So, that was the story of how the original Filipino music was born. You know, I fought and I even went and I wrote and I spoke to Malacanang. You know, I brought my sentiments to the First Lady, Imelda Marcos, and I don't know if it has, of course, it has reached the attention of then the President Ferdinand Marcos, and I was very open to them, and I spoke from my heart na ganito po ang dinadaanan. Ang mga artista po, kami po mga awit, hindi kami binabayaran ng tama. Hindi po kami napapatugtog. Kami nagsisikip na po kami sa ere. Hindi naman kami nabibigyan ng pansin. At yung mga taong, mga producers sa mga banyaga, sila ang pupunta sa atin at imbis na tayo ang magkaroon ng pagkakataon. See? So you go to different countries, you know, you go to other countries, you would hear even from the airport, you will hear their national artists. Of course, there are some other artists that you will hear, but primarily, ang mga artist nila ang muna. Sapagkat naniniwala sila na dapat may bigyan ng what you call this, ng justisya at pagkakataon ang mga singers natin. We have great artists. No? They are my colleagues. No? Ang iba hindi na ako kilala. Uh, I'm already on that stage of my life where I'm retired. So, no, but I I want to tell this story because I want you to know that itong industriya ng entertainment sa Pilipinas is a very fragile industry. No, pag hindi natin pinangalagaan. Kaya when I started to tell the story, no, of how we were fighting for our rights, no, I spoke to to then the first lady. No, I don't know if she remembers that, but I sent a position paper. I talked to her, what do you call this, consultants, and I told them, bakit ganyan ang kailangan natin. Now, I am telling you this story with no intention to open and to rub the stories again and to bring it into life. What was not really very pleasant that time. I have no intention, and that is not my intention. That's why I refuse to mention names. I refuse to mention entities. I'm just talking about my story, the principles of my story. That why do I call this my story? Because this is my story. You know, I'm not expecting the industry to build a monument for me. You know, and that is very true. I was the one, by the grace of God, who opened with the support of my friend Victor Wood. I say with his support because without him, it could have been weaker. Sapagkat he was bigger in name that time. And then, you know, if Victor was with me, then everybody would join. With subsequently, a lot of entertainers joined the gang, sabi nga nila, yung club. So maraming sumali. So we started an organization of mga awit. That was not OPM yet. That was PhilNea, Philippine National Entertainers Association. And when we joined, nagsali sumama na lahat. Of course, the recording companies, yung aming mga contracts na sa kanila, they retaliated to us, lalo na sa akin. And they warned me, that if I will not keep my mouth shut, then something will happen to me. Now, I'm not saying who these people are, but I didn't even care. I kept on fighting for the rights of my friends, and the fruit of my effort, the grace of God, is what you see now. You know, I have friends who are OPM hit makers, and they acknowledge that, and I'm thankful. Some they don't acknowledge that effort. That's okay. It is not important for me to be acknowledged. It's not important for us to be acknowledged for the good that we do. What is important is that we are evaluated by the things that we have done. Okay? So, whatever it is in your life, if you have created or caused or authored a change, maybe in your community, in your office, in your organizations, in your companies, in the school, that is something that you should treasure, you know. And when you do good, you don't expect people to throw a party for you, you know. Uh, just the fact that you saw that what you have fought for uh, became a success, no? Naging successful, and then, namunga ang iyong pinaghirapan. You see? Now, to me, my dear friends, I am 69 years old. Hindi ko kinaihiya yan because that is already evident in my and to me, that is a manifestation of wisdom. Now, again, I called my program True Stories because what I'm telling you is true. Walang OPM kung hindi po sa inyong lingkod at sa kaibigan ko si Victor Wood. You see? Kaya lang, habang nagpa-progress yung buhay, no, sometimes nakakalimutan na yung ginagawa mong mabuti. I'm not alone. I'm sure kayo po may mga nagawa kayo na nakalimutan na rin kayo. But alam mo, ang maganda diyan is that kahit na nakalimutan tayo, hindi makakalimutan ng mga tao ang nagawa natin. You know, I cannot forget what I have done. And I believe it was a divine intervention in my life. Bata pa ako noon. No? I don't even know I was going to be a pastor. But it was a divine intervention. God used me. God will use people. God will use you. Gagamitin ka ng Panginoon Diyos para ikaw yung isang kalan para sa kanyang magandang plano. Para sa the greater good of many people. Let alone I'm talking of my colleagues in the industry. Ito mga batang entertainers ngayon, this young, hindi nila alam ang dulo ng story. And sometimes I watch them on television, no? Nung nandun pa yung ABS-CBN, talagang okay na okay pa yun. Nanonood ako sa kanila sa mga program. Napapangiti lang ako because sabi ko, wow, look at this. This is the fruit of my efforts and my crusade, no, to make a change in the industry of our country, in the entertainment, in the uh, cultural aspects of our country. So that alone, I'm happy, no. And then so came OPM, Original Filipino Music. I was the one who coined that. No, I'm sorry, I'm having some allergies, but but I coined that. And then because of that, okay, I use the word fight. It was a fight, it was a struggle, and that was really so difficult for me, a very young boy who has no experience. And I went to fight for the rights of the entertainers sa Congress. No? Para bagang yung Congress committee na harap mo. And I represented myself without a legal counsel. Wala akong abogado, you know. I just talked and I was very confident that I had a point. You know, if you have a point in your life, speak it out. Magsalita kayo. You know, I'm not asking you or rallying people to be what you call this, be a problem for our society. But if you see something that is not right, speak. You know, because for all you know, your voice can be a representation of the voices of many. And that is exactly what I did. Hindi ko na inisip yung kung sisikat pa ba ako. You know, and quite honestly, that was the end of my career. Hindi na ako pinapatugtog sa radyo. Ah, and I'll tell you, quite honestly, hanggang sa ilang taon na, that was carried on to me. That's why some of my friends call me the most, one of the most underrated artists of our country. You know, I really didn't make it big. You know why? Because that effort curtailed my opportunity to become big. But I didn't care, you know, because you know what? The gift that God gave me is still with me. My voice is a gift. Nobody can take that away from me. Your talent is a gift. Nobody can take that away from you. All you need to do is take care of the talent that gave you and use it for His glory. You know, don't let your talent, uh, what you call this, cloud your eyes and your mind. You know? Because it will really shine. Alam mo kung ito lang sinasabi ko palagi, kung magaling ka talaga. No? If you have it, you have it. And nobody can take it from you. It is only us who can just allow our gift or our talent to be stolen, to be taken away from us. Okay? But going back to sa story ko, and I will end pretty soon for my first session of my stories with you, the OPM and the El Budigon story and how I fought for the rights of our entertainers. Natutuwa ako because ngayon, you know, itong mga kabataan ngayon, itong mga ang gagaling. Nung araw wala yan. Nung nangyari na ito, I'll tell you, this is what you always hear, no? Yung tinatawag na cover version. uh, uh, my primo, my cousin, Rani Rimundo, interviewed me, and I'm so blessed with my cousin. Pinsan ko si Rani, no? Because his father is my cousin. Hindi pala pinsan, naging pamangkin ko yan. So, uh, there was a time that I managed Rani, and I also managed some artists I don't like to mention. I don't have the liberty to say that, perhaps, but uh, they know, why I was very particular with that. I I I want the artists to be treated fairly. Yan ang kailangan natin, fairly. You know, alam nyo, ang artists natin, and I'm speaking up to today, you know, uh, maraming mga underrated, maraming overrated, pati ang hindi lang underrated, underpaid pa. Natatawa lang ako. I don't mean to be sarcastic, but you know, uh, the talent fees right now are being controlled by only a few people. Isa pa yan, mga producers. No? Uh, we are at the mercy of producers. Baliktad, dito sa Amerika, ang mga artists dito are not under the mercy of the producers. Of course, there are politics in Hollywood, no? But dito iba. If you hit it once, you hit it big. Sa atin, ilang hits ka na, ganun ka pa rin. You know, I just don't like to mention names, no? But it breaks my heart to know some of my colleagues who made big hits, no? Ang lalaki ng mga kanta na alam ninyo, kinakanta ninyo. At up to now, hindi pa sila kumita ng tama doon sa mga sinulat nila at mga nilikha nila mga awitin. Here in the United States, you just write one big hit, you're done. You're made. Isa lang, no? Ano pa kaya kung masundan pa? That is how the protection of artists uh, are seen and are conducted here in a foreign country. But in our country, that is a question that I still ask. Why is it that our entertainers, our artists are not given the same privilege as the privileges of foreign artists? Sometimes, pupunta pa sa ating bayan, di ba? Magko-concert yan. Hindi pa nagbabayad ng buwis yata yung iba. Ah, dolyar ang binabayad sa kanila. Ano nangyari sa mga Filipino artists? Opening act tayo. Malaking bagay na pag naging back-to-back ka ni ganito at ni ganon. Pero dumating yung mga foreign artists, I mean, I'm talking of big names. No? Saan tayo napunta? Opening act lang tayo. So we are just matinee performers. No? Baliktad. Dapat tayo ang nakauna or at least tapatan yung mga Pilipino na tapatan yung mga banyagang mga artistang pupunta sa bayan natin. Bakit? Sapagkat unang-una, tayo ay Pilipino. We are Filipinos. We are a gifted set of people. That is why I started from my story in El Bodigon. You know why? Because that little place where I started also my career have made many products of artists that have made it big and are really known, who have indelible music in your hearts and in your minds, at least those who were baby boomers, you know. So, what am I trying to put across in my true story? I chose to make my first true story. It's about my career and how the entertainment industry has affected my career. You know, uh, I disappeared in the limelight because there was that time, it was so intense that nobody wanted to book me, nobody wanted to hire me. Hanggang ngayon, di na kinukuha si Pastor. Lalo na habang tumatanda ka, hindi na, no? Uh, I always, I kid with my friends. Sabi ko, alam mo, nung araw, 5 years ago, my phone, tumutunog palagi yan. May tumatawag sa akin. And they ask you, oh, Julius, pwede ka bang sa show? Ngayon, wala nang tumatawag sa akin. And I'll tell you why I'm smiling, because you know what? That is no longer my intention. That is no longer what motivates me. But to some entertainers, that is something that is hard to face. No, when you were not no nag-pandemic, remember, 2 years over, uh, the entertainment industry was put to a complete halt. Tumigil, di ba? So tumigil ang income, and I feel and I know, I talk, I've shared with my friends na nawala ng gigs, nawala ng trabaho. Praise God at medyo bumabalik na tayo ngayon at nagkakaroon tayo ng mga, natutuwa ako pag nakikita ko yung mga kaibigan ko na nagkakaroon ng mga show. You know, I'm happy for them. You know, because sabi ko, wow, God is really good. Di ba? But what is important is for us not to look back and what you call this, rehearse the worst things that happened to us and the bad things that happened to us. Huwag nating i-rehearse yun. Ang i-rehearse natin is that what else can I do so I can move forward. So that is what I did in my life. You know, when the time that they blocked me, wala pang Facebook no, pero they blocked me in the industry. Wala nang producer ang interesado sa akin kasi si Julius, mahirap kausap yan. You know, alam mo, pang problema sa atin ngayon. Pagka ikaw ay straight, when ikaw ay you demand what's due to you, mahirap kang kausap. Pero kung pwede ka nilang ganonin sa ilong, sabi nga nila, lahat ng gusto nila, oo ka lang ng oo, madali kang kausap. Don't do that, my friends. You know? I think that is very, very, what do you call this, important in my life. Our integrity and our principle. You see? Pag may prinsipyo tayo, pangatawanan natin. You know, if you know very well that what you are doing is righteous, it is good, it's godly, do it. You know, that is what I want to share with you because true stories is not about para hirangin ako or to lift me up. I've been there. You know, that's enough for me. You know, the trajectory of my life has been changed by God. No, sa totoo lang, it's not that I don't like singing, pero wala na akong interest sa show business. Sa totoo lang. Maybe I want to perform once in a while, and I have to admit it that I perform because first of all for the love of music. I don't like to make my voice stale. It's a waste. God gave me a voice and I'm not using it. And God demands and expects us to use every gift that He has given us so that it may be shining upon the world, that He be glorified. That's why I love to sing. I love music, but above all, I want to honor God for what He gave me. Kay madalang na ang tumatawag sa akin, kumukuha sa akin. Wala nang tumatawag, wala nang show, okay lang. Kaya itong mga shows ko sa internet, no, sa Friday, I have my night camp, no? And then I just perform and sing for free. No? Wala namang bayad yun. No? Ngayon, kung natutuwa silang they want to give me a tip, or sabi ko nga, if they get tipsy, or they feel like giving gratuities, fine. But it's not, that's not what motivates me. If you were watch my night camp, lalo na itong sa Saturday, no? That's at 9 p.m. If you only know how hard I worked for that, I do the recording myself and ako na rin yung nag-edit lahat. No? I thank God that tinuruan ako ng Diyos sa gawin lahat yan. I was gifted by the Lord with technical knowledge, you know. And God blessed me with a complete studio here na I use for my ministry dahil ito ay sinusuportahan ako ng Church of the Highlands, you know. But salamat sa Diyos na natuto ako. Kasi alam niyo, I will end again. Ito, parang end ako ng end, parang ako nag-end. Itong take away ko sa inyo. No? Yung transition ko mula sa Albodigon to Dewey Boulevard, to my recording companies, to martial law. I don't like to talk about martial law. To talk about, I just mentioned martial law because that was the moment and the time when I exposed at the same time the Payola exposé. Payola, meaning to say pay to play. Diba? So, pag hindi ka nagbabayad, hindi ka patutugtugin. Kung wala kang pera, never heard ka. In short, yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Kung wala kang supporter, walang nagbabayad sa'yo, ang mga kanta mo, kahit na anong galing mo, hindi ka sisikat, pero wala nakakarinig. Di ba? Pero kung ang mga DJ, wala nang bukang bibig, kundi pangalan mo, at panay ang tugtog ng plaka mo o ng digital media music mo, ay talagang sisikat ka. No? But there is so much politics and business involved in that. And I don't like to go deep into it because I don't like to involve people, and I might be tempted to besmirch the reputation of people. But I'm not besmirching anybody's reputation. I'm talking of the truth. That's why this is true stories. As I said, what I'm telling you now, they are all verifiable. You see, they are found in the Library of Congress in the Philippines. I was in the front pages for 3 months in all newspapers. You know, my father was so angry at me for being so, tawag niya sa akin, masyado kang, you're stupid for doing that. But, sabi ko, Dad, at the end of the day, I'm not stupid because I have made a change in the industry. Whether they recognize me or not, I was able to introduce change. So my takeaway for you is this: do what you feel and that you know is going to be a benefit for others. You see, make your story be told, not only in Facebook, not only in social media, not only in streaming, but let your stories be told. You know, in the way you live your life and the way you do it and the way you impact the lives of other people. Because people can change. Sabi ko, true stories can change us. That is why I put this program. I'm praying that my stories is going to change me again and you. So our stories can change people. What is your story? What are your stories? Now, I will end here because this is only the first part of my story or the first segment of my story. I will see you next time with true stories, and I'm going to share with you the rest and the conclusion and the takeaways of what I've shared you today. So this is Julius saying thank you very much for joining me. At sana, keep on telling your stories to impact the lives of other people. God bless you all.